Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for being here. My name is Charlie Kelly. I'm from the Honors College of Houston Community College, and today I'm going to be talking about the subreddit AntiWork and the inevitable effects of COVID-19 on the working class. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives forever. Our personal lives, school, and in this case, work. According to the Pew Research Center, it is said that COVID-19 has reshaped work in America forever. The majority of workers are working from home by choice. To be exact, 61% of workers are doing so by choice, compared to the 38% that are working from home just because the workplace is closed. While others were focused on working from home, some Americans were basically lost their jobs. With the nationwide compulsory lockdown, only a few workers were prioritized in terms of work, and I'm sure we're all aware of the essential workers. This included our healthcare workers, our teachers, our critical retail workers, and of course our transportation workers. The unexpected unemployment led to considerable free time for workers to casually ruminate on working conditions while also adjusting to the pressure of the coronavirus pandemic. With COVID-19 came a slew of unemployment benefits for when workers were out of a job. As workers became dependent on these benefits, they gained more confidence and intellect on what companies and jobs were worth their time and resources. This in turn fueled what we call the Great Resignation, which I'm going to talk about later. Workers are in the middle of a massive labor shortage, which in turn gives them a bargaining power with which they have the opportunity to negotiate pay and other work benefits. The Great Resignation. This is a term coined by Texas A&M professor Anthony Klutz, which refers to the mass resignation of workers during the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has allowed workers to rethink their jobs, careers, goals, and current work conditions. A record 4 million Americans quit their jobs in April of 2021. 3.9 million quit their jobs in June of 2021. This was an ongoing trend. As of August of 2021, another 4 million workers had quit their jobs. Now, to combat this mass resignation, companies began asking themselves, where are these workers going? A slew of workers were actually retiring from jobs, others were going to better companies, and some just decided to stay home because it was not worth it to them. The Great Reshuffle is what we call the process by which companies were scrambling to retain employees by developing their workplaces and changing policies, altering hours and benefits. Now, these effects have translated into what we call the anti-work movement. So what is this movement? What is it about? A group of people that follow the anti-work movement are all about work reform. Some, the complete abolishment of work. And others, just basic anti-capitalism. To address the anti-work movement, we also have to talk about how social media has been a driving force for this movement. We can all attest to the fact that each one of us have one form of social media or the other. And we all know that social media is very important for passing information to millions of people around the world, from one end, from Africa to Europe to America. And we know that so many social media apps have been used to further the agenda of movements. For example, Twitter and Facebook have been notorious for spreading information about different social movements on both sides of the political spectrum. With examples as popular as the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, it is not surprising to see the rapid growth of social media activism in political movements. For an app like Reddit, which I'm sure a couple of people know about, it is not surprising to see a large number of open conversations surrounding the subjects that could cause conflicts in real life. And with employees at possible risk of termination, this anonymity is essential to their work to get their grievances out. When the pandemic was at an all-time high, workers were becoming more aware of their toxic work cultures. They turned to the only subreddit that seemed to exemplify and carry out their current views, our anti-work. Now, talk about our anti-work, we need to talk about the most popular post on this subreddit. The first post, we see an infographic on a possible life for workers, and this exemplifies the kind of posts that we see on this subreddit. On this, we see an infographic on possible vacation days, how many hours they wish to work a week, and a couple other things, including unlimited paid sick leave and executive to worker compensation balance. So we see a lot of posts like this on the subreddit talking about, you can call it fantasies that workers believe that they should have. On this post, we see a person quitting his job through text message, which is which kind of goes against the status quo for quitting your job. On this one, we see like a poster talking about salary competitiveness among workers in the workplace. The discussion of salaries among workers is often prohibited in certain workplaces, and we see workers talking about how people should come together to talk about salaries to avoid this competitiveness among workers in the workplace. And the last one, we see a worker is bragging about deleting thousands, which could be months, years of work from his computer because he was fired. So what is this group? Is it just complaining? Is it just people fantasizing about work? What is this group? To talk about the group, we also have to talk about the demographics of this group. So from here, we can see that 72.52% of people in this group are from North America, with a close second being 16.5% being from Europe, and a very probably negligible percentage from other parts of the world. We also see that 49% of members in this group are from the age range of 25 to 34 years old, with 18 to 24 years coming in close second with 21%, and 35 to 44-year-olds coming in 20%. So a majority of people in this group are basically adult Americans. And we can see the employment status of members of this group. 64% are full-time. It is important to keep this in mind, as only 8% are unemployed. This is the growth of the subreddit. There are like 3 periods of growth on this graph. From 2010 to 2019, the group had a slow and steady growth from 0 to 10,000 members. And then from 2019 to October of 2021, there was a sharp spurt. This was during the pandemic, as the pandemic was unfolding. We have a growth of 10,000 members to about 500,000 to 6,000 members in October. From October until now, there has been a giant spike in usage, and the number has tripled to 1.8 million members. So, why should we care? What has this group accomplished? Media attention and awareness to several workplace issues. With this subreddit and the attention of the Reddit community, workers have a platform to air grievances out. However, this time, the subreddit served as a mere starting point to this movement. However, some news outlets have covered on the growing movement. On January 26 of 2022, Jesse Waters, a news anchor from Fox News, interviewed a long-standing moderator of the subreddit during Ford. This was the biggest exposure that the subreddit had, and it could either make or break. Unfortunately, it was actually the latter, as during Ford failed to communicate the main focus of this subreddit. She told the 3.8 million viewers of Jesse Waters' show that laziness was a virtue. And I read, quote, "I think laziness is a virtue in a society where people constantly want you to work, to be productive 24/7. And it's good to have rest. That does not mean you should be resting all the time or not putting effort into things that you care about." With a statement like this, one begins to wonder what this movement is really about. Is it a rebellion from society? Is it a movement for work reform? Or is it just an endorsement for laziness? Our AntiWork supports the unionization of workers. In October of 2021, as many of us know, Kellogg's faced a massive strike that lasted 3 months. In those 3 months, our AntiWork stood in solidarity to Kellogg's striking workers by initiating discussions on worker exploitation by big companies. Reddit users created programs and automated scripts that spammed Kellogg's job hurdles, thereby preventing the hiring of people that would replace the striking workers. This broke down Kellogg's website and they resorted to staffing agencies. As we speak, the strike is over and some of the striking workers have gone back to work. The subreddit also creates a sense of community for workers that are trying to get their message across. In a pinned post on the subreddit's page, members are not required, but they are asked to contribute in some way and to combat the problems that the group feels that they must tackle. These problems include alienation, horrible jobs, hostile work environments, stagnant wages, manufactured scarcity, growing income inequality, growing wealth inequality, and a dangerous disregard for the ecosystem that we rely on. They attribute these problems to being symptoms of capitalism, democracy, and the state government, which is quite a large echo of their original anarchist beliefs. So, now what? Why should we care? This anti-work movement is still a fresh idea, a modern rebellion against capitalism, if you will. But how will this movement stand against an entire system where everything has been built on? As for the subreddit, it is plausible that it will continue to grow as a medium of co-support between frustrated workers of all races, income levels, and industries. Whether it will eventually cause a noticeable dent in the labor force is up for debate. Like many subreddits, our anti-work started as a way to just speak and express oneself. With the massive growth of social media and its influence on the entertainment and political institution, it is not far off to assume that this will possibly be a movement that will grow in coming years. The demographics of this group, as well as its priorities, will continue to change. It is also worth noting that our anti-work did not start as a work reform group. It started as an anarchist group, and this kind of reinforces the idea of changing priorities. So, is there any substance to this? Well, a quick Google search of this group will bring you to the homepage, which is characterized by elaborate queen stories and tales of toxic bosses, as I addressed earlier. On the surface, it does seem like it's a place to just complain and rant about work. So why is this movement attracting so much attention? For example, Fox News. The amalgamation of social media and political movements is here to stay. As the pandemic has changed our lives forever, it has also left large dents on major institutions of our nation. We must all look ahead and contemplate where we go from here. Thank you.
Yes.
For the anti-work movement, how can companies work with their employees to create a more suitable work environment? And then also, if people are quitting work, how are they spending their time and how will they support themselves?
Okay, so that is what I was referring to as the great reshuffle. So companies are really struggling to keep workers. The bigger companies are adjusting more so than the small businesses. The small businesses are closing. We see a large number of small businesses going out of business during COVID. And as for, what would you say?
So when people are quitting work, how are they spending their time?
What are they doing, right? So some people, like the moderator for our entire work, she said she quit her job teaching to walk dogs. So some people are just doing jobs that they are basically their own bosses, even though they are earning less, which is questionable, right? But yeah, some people are going to better places of work. Some people are becoming their own bosses. We see a large spike in entrepreneurship during COVID. So yeah, so some people are literally just staying at home because they feel like, obviously those people probably have other factors on how they're supporting themselves. But some people just quit their job and just stay home because they feel like they shouldn't invest their time and resources into places that do not appreciate them.
A question on anti-work. Do you think that this movement would be possible without the internet? And if you do, what would it look like?
So social media has been a really big part of the movement.
the subreddit is actually the face of the movement. I don't think in real life people even like talk about the movement like, oh, are you in the anti-work movement? Oh yeah, like it's not really like that. So social media has been like a very big tool in like making, and also like COVID has been a catalyst. So we were all forced to stay at home. So people were like going to social media to like do things and like talk about things that bothered them, and like they just found themselves in this huge community and every one of them had the same ideas. So I don't think it'll be as big as it is if it weren't for social media. So yeah, that's
Thank you.